Hey Trailblazers, welcome to Trailblazing Retirement. I'm Katrina.
And I'm John.
And today we are in the beautiful Great Smoky Mountain National Park at Fontana Dam in North Carolina. And we just did an amazing hike.
Yeah, for sure. So it's called the Shuckstack Fire Tower hike. It's actually part of the AT, and it has just got a little bit of everything in this hike. It's got some history. It's got some beautiful just hiking trails. We're here near Fontana Dam, which is just a beautiful area. And so I want you guys to come along with us, and we'll show you what it was all about.
So join us. So our adventure started right here at Fontana Dam in North Carolina. It's a little outside of Bryson City, to the west of Bryson City. And if you've never visited Fontana Dam, you should definitely come. It's a great visit, beautiful location. Fontana Lake is one of our favorite lakes in the whole world. We love Fontana Lake. Spent many a day out on that lake behind us here. And so that's where the trail starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's actually a couple of choices for, where you want to start the trail. You can actually start, there's a little parking area right next to the dam itself. So you can actually park there and start, hiking. Basically, you have to hike. If you do that, you hike across the actual dam itself, which is, in case you guys didn't know, it's actually part of the Appalachian Trail. And so you can start there. That's going to add about a mile or two to the actual hike itself.
2 miles, yeah.
Or you can drive across the dam, and there's a parking area about maybe, a half mile from the dam itself. And you can start the trail right there, which is what we did.
Yeah. Sure. So the overall trail there and back again was 7 miles. And the first 3.5 miles up to Shuckstack Tower was grueling. We're going to be honest with you. It was tough. It was strenuous. It was pretty much uphill the entire way. I think it was over 2,000 feet in elevation that we gained.
Yeah.
During that first 3.5 miles. So it's definitely a heart pumper.
Yeah. We both consider ourselves in fairly good shape. And so, but Katrina said the first half of the hike going up is pretty strenuous. So just be prepared if you're doing it, for sure.
Yeah. And along the way, you're in the forest, and right now it's spring. So it's early spring here. In North Carolina, and the trees still don't have a lot of leaves yet on them. So we had a nice view through the trees all the way up, and you can see the different mountain ranges. So there's the Unicoi mountain range, the Snowbird mountain range, and of course the Great Smoky Mountains. You can see just amazing views throughout.
Yeah.
But we do recommend taking it slow going up. Don't rush. Give yourself plenty of time. This trail takes a round trip, 5.5, 6 hours. I think it took us about 5 hours. That's there and back to the dam. But just take your time, especially going up, because it is strenuous, but it is well worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Just, it's one of those trails, you don't want to push it. Make sure you bring plenty of water, bring you a snack to have, especially when you get to the tower, or even we stopped a couple of times and just had a little snack, on the hike up. And so you want to make sure you have your energy and all that. And especially if you're coming in the summertime, bring plenty of water. We're here in the spring, so it wasn't too bad, but yeah.
Yeah, what we did, it got warm when we were heading up, By the time we got to the base of the mountain, it was almost 90 degrees. So, and I got a sunburn, so we weren't expecting all of that. But the weather can fluctuate, so you want to dress in layers. So that's a good tip to make sure you're wearing those layers as you go up.
Yeah. So a little bit of history about the fire tower itself. It was actually built in 1934, and it was built during the Great Depression. It was part of the New Deal. And it was built initially to help park rangers be able to spot wildfires. They didn't have the technology we have today for being able to spot and react, respond to fires. And so they built these towers back then to get as high as they could above the tree line, and it helped them to spot those fires. And so, that was a really good resource for park rangers to be able to spot those fires.
Yeah, and this tower has the bird's eye view. It definitely got to the top the uppermost part. It's on Shuckstack Mountain, and it's a 60-foot tower. And the wardens, the wardens, are they wardens?
Park rangers.
The park rangers.
Yeah.
So the park rangers live there, and I guess they would have like supplies brought up to them. Hopefully, somebody brought them supplies, because I'd hate to have to take that hike in and out all the time, because it is a strenuous hike up to the top of it. But there was a little cabin, a little one-room cabin there, and actually the chimney's still there and the cistern's still there. So it's kind of like just a remnant of those days back in the 30s and onward. And actually the cabin was removed in the 1980s. But yeah, so the fireplace and the cistern are still there. And here's a fun fact about the name of Shuckstack Tower. We're like, what in the world? Where did that name come from? But it's actually the mountain is named Shuckstack because it looks like shuck corn all in a stack. And so that is how it got its name, Shuckstack Tower and Shuckstack Mountain. I
know Katrina found that because it was an interesting name. So I'm glad that she was able to find how that got named. But so another fact about the trail and the hike itself is actually part of the AT. And so, which is really cool when you think about it. You always want to hike, people want to hike the AT. So this is actually part of the Appalachian Trail. So another fact about the trail itself is formerly the trail went through what's called Deal's Gap, which is a few miles, up the road from where we're at here. In 1944, they dammed the Little Tennessee River, which is part of Fontana Dam here itself. And the trail at that point was rerouted to go over the dam and through the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, which is the trail we just hiked. And so just a interesting fact there.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. Just the AT crosses right across where it's right over there. The AT is right over there and across the dam. Yeah. So when you finally reach the summit, it's actually a little over 4,000 feet is the elevation, but you feel like you are on top of the world. It's just crazy beautiful. And when you get to the base of the tower, the trees kind of obstruct your view. So in order to get those 360 views, you have to climb the tower, and it's a little sketchy and a little scary at first. So yeah, for sure.
It's you get there and you're not sure exactly. We had seen some videos about it, so people were a little scared once they got up there to try to climb the tower. Really, I didn't find it as scary as I thought it would be. It's scary. It's a little sketchy. There's not a handrail on the first set of stairs that you go up, and then
there is a handrail. There's just one.
I'm sorry, there's one handrail. The rest of the stairs have both handrails on each side, so you feel a little more secure. But yeah, I mean, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and it is well worth it. If you can hike to the top and get to the top to what they call the cab of the fire tower itself, I highly recommend it, because that's where you just get those just great 360 views that are just some of the best we've ever seen up here in this area.
Yeah, and if you're scared of heights, just look straight ahead. Just look at each step right in front of you. Hold on to those handrails and just keep going. Just keep going. It's well worth it. You're gonna love the views. It's just it's amazing. You just feel like you're the king of the world. You're on the top there, and the views are just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. So one important note, just please know that the national park no longer maintains the tower. So just use good judgment whenever you go there. Just make sure it seems sound to you. We felt that it looked really secure. Looked like recently they had replaced some of the boards in the cab. So we felt a little bit more secure up there, but I don't think that it's going to be maintained moving forward. So just use your best judgment, be safe. But if it is in good condition when you get there, then definitely make that climb to the top. It's well worth it.
So some of those views that we talked about, once you get to the top of the fire tower, it's just incredible. You can see the Unicoi and Nantahala, mountain ranges to the south. You can see the Blue Ridge Mountains to the southeast. You see the Great Smoky Mountains to the north and to the east as well. And so it's just spectacular views all the way around. So.
Yeah, and you can see the Fontana Dam where we started when you get up there too, and you see all that terrain that you covered. But it is well worth it. It's stunning. So all of those steps, all of those inclines, well worth the trip. So there are 4 fire towers still standing in the Smoky Mountains, but only 3 of those 4 can actually be climbed by hikers. Shuckstack is one of them, and highly recommend. The other 2 are Mount Camerer and Mount Sterling, and we haven't done those 2 yet, but now we kind of got a fire lit for fire towers, so that's on our next list of places to visit and hikes to do.
Yep. Okay, so I guess maybe some lessons learned and some tips for hiking this trail for sure. One is you want to start early. Give yourself plenty of time. We started around 11, which looking back, we maybe should have started a little bit earlier, especially if you're hiking in the summertime. You want to start as early as you can to kind of beat some of the heat for sure. You want to, like I said, give yourself plenty of time.
Don't rush it, especially when up.
Another tip is keep an eye on the weather. You really want to go on a clear day. Some of the days up here in the Smoky Mountains can get kind of smoky. You'll see hazy. Some of the smoke rising from the mountains themselves, hazy.
There was like a controlled burn happening the afternoon. So as later in the day, it kind of got a little hazy, but we were fortunate that was later. Yeah,
for sure. So a clear day, just keep an eye on the weather, try to go when it's clear. You're going to have the best views at that point. And then really important, bring some poles with you, some trekking poles, especially for the hike down, because it was, fortunately we did, but our knees were still feeling it. Like I say, going up, that cardio is going to get to you, because you're just going up the whole time. Coming down, it's just your knees, your legs are going to feel it. So the trekking poles are going to help a lot.
Yes, please don't forget your trekking poles. Even just at least bring one. So that really helped coming back down. And then I would just say to pack layers, wear some layers, because the weather can change. We did the hike yesterday. It was almost 90 degrees. Today it's like 40.
No, it's like mid 50s. Right?
Well, it feels like 40 to me. So the weather can change, and it's nice to have layers, so you can start with some layers and shed them as it gets a little bit warmer and as you're exerting yourself going up that mountain. And then I would say wear solid footwear for sure. It's pretty rough terrain, lots of rocks and roots, and so having good footwear is super important. And then like John said, I think start early and just take your time, and you'll have a wonderful experience. Again, the views are just spectacular and so worth it. So glad we did it.
Yes, for sure. So to kind of summarize what we've been talking about, this trail, Shuckstack Trail, was just awesome. We loved every bit of it. Like I said, like we talked about before, be prepared for the elevation gain. It's no joke, but it is well worth it once you make it to the top for sure. The history of the trail itself, getting up there and, just imagining back in the 30s, someone living there full time at this house and being able to still see the chimney and the cistern and the tower rising above it was just awesome to me. I love history and learning about history. And so it's just it was real neat just seeing that, little piece of history from many, many years ago for sure.
So we want you to get out and explore wonderful places like this. So hopefully this inspired you. And if it did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We are exploring different places and exploring early retirement. And we want to encourage you to think about retiring as soon as you can and getting out there and, enjoying nature and all these wonderful places to visit and in the world. So, and drop a comment. Let us know if you've been to Shuckstack, or if you've been to another fire tower, or if you would be brave enough to climb those 78 stairs to the top. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, keep blazing those trails, and we'll see you on the trail.